Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of Pirates Bay Farm. So, as you can tell, Elizabeth and I made up. We made up and we're out this morning exercising the horses. Just decided to take a ride along the beach. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful beach. What can you say? Spend enough time on this island and you'll learn to love it. Trust me. And I spend far too much time working and not enough time relaxing, so I figured this morning we should just get the horses out. I mean, I've got these horses. I haven't done much with them. Yeah, and Elizabeth brought me a little bit of something that's going to help me along today, too. We're going to get to that in just a little bit, but for now, we're going to ride these horses back up to the farm, get them put away, and get this day started. We'll see you up there. There we go, right back on the farm as I slam into the gate. That's not cool, poor horse. Get him back in the corral, if you will. That ought to do, and I probably ought to brush him down too, as soon as I can find him. There he is. Or she. Nice and clean, just the way a horse should be. And, these horses might just turn into some good money makers now. Elizabeth has to get back to her own farm this morning. Oh, here's my gate. I'm getting lost on my own farm. But she did bring me something that's going to be a big, big help, and I am going to show you why. So she's going to jump in her truck, but she is leaving this tanker for me to use for a while. And, I've got something up my sleeve. I'm going to be doing some pirate-style action of my own. Bye. See you later. Oh yes, and I still need to get these sunflowers delivered, and I am going to get that done just as soon as we finish up this little chore. You know, I'm sick and tired of oilseed radish, and I'm sick and tired of rollers, and while I am making a ton of Digestate, I have another plan. That means making more Digestate, but for a better cause. Now I realize when we pulled all those trees out the other day that I have an opportunity, a very distinct opportunity to take advantage of, let's call it, a vacuum on the island. A government-created vacuum, mind you. Oh, yes. So I'm going to run in here and fill this tanker up with Digestate. That's the first step in this process. Oh, yes. And look at that. I've been cranking it because I've got almost 300,000 liters of Digestate built up in here. That's a lot of grass mowing, let me tell you. Although, technically I've been paying people to mow the grass because, well, I got a lot to do. And I need the help, trust me. This is no small operation. Now, this process, while initially is setting me back on my goal of making rum just a little tiny bit, because this was not expensive to set up. In fact, I've kind of been, I don't want to say sneaking because it all came in legit, but I've been putting this together for a while, and I finally got it all sorted. And boy, this truck does not like this tank of liquid. It's heavy. But when the trees were cleared, I realized I have a nice little area tucked back in here where nobody can see. And I am going to replant the trees in most of this area. But for right now, I'm going to dump 60,000 liters of digestate in here. Oh yes. Just 60,000 to start with. We're going to do a test run, since I've got this tank full at the moment. It filled a lot faster than it's emptying, let me tell you. And then I'm going to run across the street and buy some diesel fuel. In a tanker. Yes, in a tanker. You'll understand why in just a minute. Come on, come on. We're almost there. We got this. Well, the truck needed to fill up too anyway, so I'll fill up the truck first. And I think I'll just start with, say, 1,000 liters of diesel. That's going to take a minute. Or 12. Not too bad. Okay, there we go. 1,000 liters of diesel. Get that back over there to my secret facility. And if anybody sees it from far away, it really... Actually, I don't need to go there. I can just cut through here. What am I doing? I can just... it's a silo. It's for storage. That's all it is. No big deal. No big deal at all. So I'm going to bring my diesel in here. I'm going to unload it just like I unloaded the digestate. Now the diesel unloaded much quicker. Now, what am I doing? That's right. That's right. I'm making fertilizer, baby. I'm turning digestate and diesel into dry chemical fertilizer. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Well, there is. As long as I don't get caught. And let's get a full load of digestate just to get this person on their way ASAP. And while these guys are working on this stuff, I get to go sell some sunflower seeds. There we go, filling up quite nicely, I might add. And I do have a course laid in for this helper to follow along. Not only will he follow along when he's empty, he'll run over there and grab more Digestate. How cool is that? And all I should have to do at this point is tell him to get a move on. Get to work. So there we go. We're going to have a nice, beautiful, slimy field. Let me get back up to the farm here. I'm going to grab my trailer with the sunflower in it, figure out where it needs to go. Last I checked, there was a the prices were going up quite nicely on sunflower, so that should bring in a nice chunk of money, and with a little bit of luck, keep your fingers crossed, I will be able to start the next phase of rum production. And if you recall, that is a pallet factory. Keep your fingers crossed. We need to start producing pallets in a big, big way. Alright. Yeah, that one little field actually brought in almost 40,000 liters of sunflower, so we are not doing too bad in that department for sure. And let's see, let's check the prices on sunflower just to make sure where I'm going. Sunflowers. Oh yeah. The import-export is paying over $800 per 1,000 liters. That's not shabby. That's not shabby at all. It is, however, shabby if you can't get it out of your own farmyard. We're not going to get paid anything if I can't drive better than this. There we go. Okay, I am headed off to the sale point. I'll check in when I get down there. Here I am at the Import-Export Center, and this is the best price for sunflower at the moment. And I'm going to go ahead and sell off. It has not peaked out in price, but I want the money in the bank. Not a great payday, but respectable. 31,000, almost 32,000. I'll take it. I will gladly take it. And while I'm down here, I need to check in at the shop and see exactly, well, there is a piece of equipment that I need to pick up, and I want to find out if they're going to be able to fill my needs or not. So let me check in with these guys for just a minute. And I always forget I need to run across the street. Well, they actually got me hooked up. And it wasn't that expensive. All told, it was only around $6,000, so I'm not going to complain about that. I need to run back up to the farm because they don't have that piece of equipment down here. They said it's actually at a place up closer to the farm, so I'm going to run up there. And man, I really need to get my trailer back at some point. In fact, I'm going to need that trailer because I need to move this new piece of equipment. Let me take care of that. I'm going to get this stuff back up to the farm, run back down here, grab my trailer, and see about picking up that new piece of equipment that I need for Pirates Bay Industries. So a bunch of running around on the island to do that, well, I don't think you really necessarily want to see. So let me just get all that sorted. Well, that did take a little bit longer than I expected, but I did get what I needed. Now, it's not the prettiest thing on the planet, I have to tell you, but it's going to do the job that I need. I needed a piece of equipment that I could use down here at Pirates Bay Industries to move these pallets around. This is what they had. This is what I'm using. It's old. It's a bit clunky. But it will help me get pallets out of the way and keep this sawmill cranking them out. It should, at least. Fingers crossed and all that jazz. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, it's funky. Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Maybe I need to come at these from the side. That might be the better choice here. Let's take a look and see what we got. You know, the nice thing about old equipment, I have to tell you, is that it's basic. And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean, it's generally pretty easy to operate and easy to work on. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And man, I am sick to death of that plane that's going over right now. It's just constant. And what I should probably do at some point is put in a warehouse here to start storing some of these wood pallets, because, well, I have a feeling I'm going to end up making a lot of them. And I want to keep the sawmill going, so I need to clear pallets out of it, like I showed you not long ago. If these boards fill up, I don't want to tip that, I just want to turn it a little bit. If the boards fill up, the sawmill won't continue to work. And if the sawmill's not working, well, that's not doing me any good. So, yeah, that's not bad. So we're going to take a look at the sawmill, see what it's produced and is producing, and try to get some of this cleared up, so it will produce even more. Because there's a lot of wood in there. A lot of wood. And I only took 4 pallets out to begin with. So getting more of them out of the way seems pretty important at this point. At least it does to me. Alright, we'll just set these over here for now. Let's see what we got here. Over here. Yeah, see, we're full of board. We still have, you know, it hasn't made much because I've got over 2 million liters of logs left in there. And, well, I'm full of boards again already. But we could be making a lot more stuff here, especially bars, because we're going to need a lot of bars. So what I'm going to do is pull all of the boards out. And you can see they are stacked up neatly. Okay, not so neatly, but they're stacked up. Well, you know, this thing isn't half bad. It really isn't. Once you get a feel for it. Now, it won't lift 4 pallets at a time. It's a little, they're a little too heavy for that, but as long as you keep them low to the ground, you're in pretty good shape. And it will edge them in nice and easy, just like this. So that's 30 pallets of boards right there, ready to start making pallets and barrels and all of that jazz. But I've got other fish to fry today. Like I said, I am going to call the contractors, get them to come back up here and think about putting in, well, that pallet production facility, because like I've said, I need that before I can make barrels, and I need the barrels to put the rum in, but I also need to get my sugarcane going, and what that means is I need to get crops in the field in a big way. A big way. And one crop in particular, which is going to be very spendy to get started, is going to be that sugarcane. So I need to get back up to the farm and get to work. See how my my workers doing on the digestate. Check in and see how much fertilizer has been produced. If I've got enough, I might be able to start seeding. We'll find out in a minute. I have mentioned time and time again something that I'm going to need. Well, I had the boys from the shop make a delivery right down here to field 49, and I have a helper working this field right now. I told you it still needed to be cultivated, but ooh, look at all that. That right there, my friends, is sugarcane. That's all pallets of sugarcane that I've been told I'm going to need to plant this one field. That's what I was told. I've never done sugarcane before. I'm going to admit that right here and now. But I also leased a planter. Now I'm going to tell you why I leased this planter. Instead of buying it, one, it saves me a lot of money. But two, and much more importantly, once I plant this field with sugarcane, there should be no reason for me to ever have to plant it again, because my understanding is sugarcane grows back by itself. The real drawback is getting it planted to begin with, because, well, this is the absolute widest sugarcane planter I could get my hands on. And it's not very wide, as you can see. It's not even as wide as the tractor, really. But hey, we're going to do what we can do, as we always do. Because that's the Harv's World way. And I'm sure, without a doubt, I'm going to want some courseplay action on, or not courseplay, but GPS action on this, because I'm going to want to take advantage of every little bit of space I can get out of this machine. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, look at that. 9.93 feet. It's not even 10 feet wide. Yeah, this is a tiny machine, and it's the biggest one I could get. I want to keep saying that. It's the biggest one I could get. Oh yeah. Oh, looks like I need to unfold this bad boy, fire it up, drop it down, make sure we're off the edges. I don't want to miss anything, and let GPS do its thing. Oh, there we go. It's working. And yeah, look at it eat through that sugar cane. Now, I could grossly have overestimated and bought a whole lot of sugarcane pallets that I didn't need. But you know, it was cheap actually. Each of those pallets is only $500. So I'm not going to complain if I have a few left over. Not that I will ever need them. Maybe I can sell them off to somebody else. And at the rate this is going right now, there's no way I'm going to catch up with my cultivator driver over there. So as our sugarcane's going in the ground, there's been somebody that we've kind of danced around here and there and everywhere throughout the stories of piracy in the Caribbean. And that would be a Mr. Charles Vane. And we talked about Charles Vane when we talked about Calico Jack Rackham. Jack Rackham was Charles Vane's quartermaster. We talked about Charles Vane when we talked about Benjamin Hornigold, because, well, Vane not only worked with Hornigold, but Hornigold was sent after him when he became a pirate hunter. Charles Vane was Benjamin Hornigold's main bounty, if you will, when he became a pirate hunter. So, yeah, Charles Vane is a big deal in the pirate world. He did a lot. He was very, very responsible for a lot of the pirates in Nassau. They don't know much about Charles Vane until he makes his first appearances in the Caribbean, in the West Indies. They believe he was British, which so many of these guys are British. Isn't that interesting? Nothing against our British friends, but it is part of their history. He first shows up on the records of Port Royal before he was a pirate, and he ended up joining the crew of one Henry Jennings, who was a pirate captain. Now, apparently, there was a Spanish treasure fleet that had wrecked, and Jennings was going after the gold. Now, what's slightly interesting about that is they portray something similar to that in the series Black Sails. They use a lot. Okay, what's interesting about Black Sails, I'm going to get off the track here for just a minute, but one of the cool things about Black Sails is that even though it's technically, or it's not even technically, it is considered a prequel to Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. They use a lot of genuine historic pirate references. You will see a lot of real-life pirates in Black Sails, including Charles Vane, Blackbeard, Calico Jack Rackham. But then there are also people who are true to the book Treasure Island, like Billy Bones, Long John Silver, Captain Flint, all of that. But one of the things they portray in Black Sails is that a treasure fleet wrecked during a hurricane, and they had managed to get the gold on the shoreline, on the beach, and pirates were coming to take it away. Well, this happened in real life, and Henry Jennings was the guy who was going after it, and Charles Vane hooked up with him and said, "Hey, I want a piece of that. Let's go, brother." And so he jumps into Henry Jennings' ship and begins a life of piracy out of Port Royal. Now, beyond that, the British were very concerned about Nassau. They really, really wanted it back under their control. I mean, it was considered a British territory, but it was in the hands of pirates for years and years and years. And of course, one of the first methods they attempted to use to regain Nassau was to send a fleet, at least a ship. I'm not sure if it was a fleet or just a ship, but it was captained by a guy named Vincent Pierce. They even know the name of the ship was the HMS Phoenix. Apparently it had risen from the ashes. I don't know, but interesting ship name. Anyway, Henry Pierce comes to Nassau and says, "Yo, you know, we'd kind of like our land back and stuff because we're tired of you pirates." And rather than, you know, have to duke it out with y'all, because Britain doesn't really want to get into a war here and weaken our position because Spain is just sitting out there ready to come and wreak havoc. We're going to pardon you all, and you can become good citizens of the crown and go about your way. Well, Charles Vane was having none of it. He had decided, for whatever reason, based on his background, based on his experiences, who knows why necessarily, but he said, yo, Captain Jennings, take a flying leap. And he actually, Charles Vane actually rallied the pirates together to oppose taking the pardon. Now, many pirates did take the pardon. One of them we know was Benjamin Hornigold. Actually, no, that's a little premature. Hornigold did not take the pardon when Jennings was there. He took the pardon when Woodes Rogers came, but still. Vane resisted the pardon and led the pirates who wanted to keep Nassau British free. These guys had spent far too much time working for landholders and lords and whatnot, who treated them poorly, who took advantage, and they did not want to go back to that. So what does Vane do? Well, he's got several crews at his disposal now, and they start harassing the ships of Captain Pierce. However, Vane does end up getting captured. Pierce captures Vane, and people came to his defense, including Benjamin Hornigold. There was another captain named Thomas Nichols, and they urged Pierce to release Vane to show, as a show of good faith to the people of Nassau, that, you know, Britain wasn't going to be this dictatorial situation anymore, which he did. He let Vane go. What did Vane do? Well, he went, took a pardon, and then promptly went and stole another ship and came back and started harassing Pierce some more. Because Vane was having none of it. And yep, we're going to refill again. We're starting to get low. But yeah, Vane was having none of it. He came back, he harassed Pierce so much that Pierce ultimately left. Said, no, I'm getting out of here. I've had enough. Now, I don't know the exact circumstances, but you get the picture. And lo and behold, Nassau was back in the hands of the pirates. And Vane went back to his ways of pirating ships around Nassau. Which, you know, you might wonder, what ships are going to be sailing around Nassau when they know there are so many pirates sitting around in Nassau? I've often wondered that. I'm like, why did these guys keep going through there? Well, a lot of times it was trade routes. It has to do with the water. I don't know. I'm not a sailor. I'm not a pirate or any kind of a sailor, but you know, a lot of times it has to do with how does the wind blow. They have to take advantage of the best winds. They have to take advantage of currents and things like that, especially on ships with sails. I mean, it's not like they had powered ships. It was all about how much wind they could get in their sails. There were pirates who died at sea just because their ship had become becalmed, as they called it, and they would literally not have wind for days. Or weeks even. They would just sit in a ship, surrounded by salt water, they would run out of food, and eventually they would either die of dehydration or starvation. So once Big Boy got done cultivating this field, I ended up swapping him out for that smaller tractor because, frankly, that smaller tractor wasn't cutting it. I was only getting about 4 miles an hour out of that small tractor. It had just enough horsepower to operate this seeder, but, or I should say sugarcane planter. But I'm already going to be here all afternoon. I needed all the speed I could get. Big Boy here has plenty of power to get this thing, keep this thing moving. So I am going to keep plugging away at this sugarcane. It's going to take a very long time, as I'm sure you can tell by now. Good Lord. If you want to know more about Charles Vane and how everything turned out for him, check in with the next episode of Pirates Bay Farm, because I think that's going to do it for this one. I think so. But I do appreciate you coming along for the ride. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor. Remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. And until next time, take care.